The ISO 22458 Consumer Vulnerability Toolkit includes everything you need to build a compliant and people-centered vulnerability framework, right out of the box. ISO 22458 is the international standard for inclusive service and consumer vulnerability. It sets out the requirements and guidance for organizations to recognize, respond to, and support consumers who may be in vulnerable circumstances due to a multitude of reasons. Firstly, the toolkit includes 2 full audit checklists. These will help you ensure that every clause of the ISO 22458 standard has been covered, and that you have the right documentation in place. The second folder contains several forms which can be used to support and facilitate vulnerable consumers. These include Focus Committee, Inclusive Design Impact Assessment, Staff Questionnaire, Vulnerable Consumer Reports, Monitoring and Accessibility Review forms. There are also several draft forms which can be used to log additional information, such as problems and data breaches. The toolkit includes a dedicated consumer vulnerability policy, with all of the requirements of the 22458 standard being met. Supporting this are also draft policies such as the Privacy, Data Protection, and Third-Party Representatives Policy. Registers included in the toolkit are the ER24 Consumer Vulnerability Register, for conducting risk research, case studies, and actions taken, listing advice and support providers, and adding consumer vulnerability monitoring information. A risks register is also included, which is used for logging relevant vulnerability risk factors, examples, a significance rating, and triggers and signs for the risk factor, including response actions for staff. A draft personal data register is also included, which tracks all personal data processed by the company. The toolkit includes a consumer vulnerability risk assessment, which is completed to detail all potential risks faced by vulnerable consumers, the consequences, inherent risk rating, the controls in place, and a residual risk rating. Training and guidance is included in the toolkit, which includes a general guidance handbook on consumer vulnerability, an ISO 22458 awareness course for staff, a correlation document for the standard, showing how all clauses of the standard are met by the toolkit, an implementation checklist, a handbook with an overview and guidance on the standard, and a training talk template on consumer vulnerability. The toolkit also includes 2 comprehensive files, a code of conduct for staff on dealing with vulnerable consumers, to help them identify vulnerability, adhere to the policy and principles, and to act in the best interest of vulnerable consumers. A vulnerable consumer procedure which helps ensure that the requirements of the standard are met, such as during interactions with vulnerable consumers, recognizing risks, and supporting vulnerable consumers for the best outcomes possible. Download the toolkit today from ISOmanaged.com and fast-track your path to ISO 22458 certification.